go away. Stay.
Welcome to 10 years of Columbo Podcasting.
10 years?
Has flown by.
I'm too young to have been podcasting for 10 years.
No, you're not.
So a youngster still?
No.
You may be pushing 50 now.
I'm not pushing 50. In fact, I've got proof from one of our long-time listeners. Do you remember I met Morton Bryan, down at the snooker?
You did? And he saw
me. He's the only one ever to see me. Do you know what the first thing he said was after hello?
You look really old.
The opposite. He said, you look a lot younger than what I thought. And Brian, you can confirm this. It's not all nonsense. Anyway, how have you been?
Since 10 years ago?
No, since last week.
Not too bad. Some of the listeners will not know what we've been up to.
No, what have we been up to?
We've been recording other podcasts.
What's the latest one?
We've been coming to the end of Quantum Leap, the original run. We're not talking about this newfangled nonsense. That's our current and indeed imminently completed show.
We have a few other announcements, a few other suggestions, some ideas that we're going to run by the listeners, hopefully a bit of input from them.
Always welcome.
We're givers, we're not takers.
Generally.
I mean, we'll have the final decision.
Yes, yes. But we will provide you with a podcast.
Things have changed in 10 years.
They have.
You've got married.
Yes.
Yeah. I've had another kid.
Yes, that's happened as well. My kid's gone from primary 1 to the middle of his exams.
Yeah.
A long time gone.
I remember we used to joke about Donald Trump becoming president.
That mostly happened on the Sledgehammer podcast.
Did it?
Yes, in 2016.
Yeah, that'll never happen, eh?
Yeah, well, let's make this a politics-free podcast.
I think so. We'll try our best. It's not always easy. If there's anything obvious, we have to point it out. But
strange things happen.
For the most part, we'll try and be cosy. Do you know, the world today, people love cosy mystery, cosy TV.
Non-threatening.
Non-threatening, yes.
I've just finished reading a cosy fantasy novel about an orc that makes a coffee shop.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Doesn't sound too appealing, I have to say.
It was good. It was good.
But no, I think that with all the turmoil that's going on, has been going on, there is definitely a need, the requirement. You can understand why people gravitate to shows like Columbo and Murder, She Wrote, where even though there's always a death, it's a nice death.
It's arbitrary. It's not based on any reason or selection. We should take the opportunity to thank the people who've been sticking with us for 10 full years.
Not just them, but the people who have joined us along the way. Yes, we've had people from sort of day dot, as it were, who still talk to us, who still listen, and that's so very much appreciated.
It is. Anyone who's been subscribed to the Columbo Podcast feed for that entire period will have been welcome to listen to all of Columbo, all of season 1 of Poker Face, but they might have missed out on some of our other projects.
Well, that's their fault then, isn't it?
Well,
what did we do?
Well, we did a lot of things back in the day, didn't we? We kicked off with Sledgehammer.
Uh-huh.
We followed that up with, I think we did Blackadder and Jonathan Creek at the same time.
Creek's probably more appropriate for the Columbo audience.
Yeah. We then picked up with Faulty Towers.
Uh-huh.
We moved on to the original Star Trek series.
We also had a politics show.
We had a politics show. We did a show about coffee.
Yeah.
Did we do anything? Oh, we did one. We produced a show about animation and drawing.
We did, yes, yeah.
We did Quantum Leap most recently, which is coming to an end.
Star Trek.
I said Star Trek.
Did you say that?
I mentioned it.
Okay. I don't listen.
Your eyes glazed over as I said.
No, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah.
All those things remain available.
Over the years, we've had many requests for many different shows, haven't we?
We have so many. And we're always said, do you think you might consider doing this next?
Yep.
And I always say, you never know.
Yeah. Every week we do literally get someone asking us, can you do or will you consider this? And the issue is always the amount of time that it would take to complete, because in the past what we've done is we've started at the beginning and we work our way through. We've not failed to complete any show thus far. So shows like Murder, She Wrote with over 200 episodes, you start looking, what age will I be when this finishes? What's the commitment? We can't do it.
Although we have stuck at it long enough that we could have done it.
We could have done it if we stuck to the one show, yeah. So the criteria has always been in our minds. I think it needs to be shows now that are under 100 episodes. Not just that, it's looking back now, the energy we had to do Columbo, where some of them were like, an hour and a half, an hour and 40.
That's too long now.
Too long.
We're too old.
I would be looking at it going, I can't.
That's a 3-week project.
Cannot take notes for that. So the sort of 50-minuters are quite nice. In saying that, we do want to give the listeners, our loyal listeners and new listeners, what they want. And we think that we have come up with a solution.
Yes. It's a slight departure from our normal plan, a departure from our normal structure. Is that fair to say?
It's probably inaccurate, but...
Yeah, we'll probably keep the structure, but it's a departure from our normal...
Format.
That's the correct word.
Okay. So... we want to give people the chance to listen to us reviewing their favourite shows, but as I said, there are reasons why most of them are ineligible. So what are we going to do?
Well, we should say briefly that we will keep our hand in on Poker Face if it comes back.
Yes, we're going to do Poker Face Season 2. I suspect that's going to drop early next year. So whatever we're doing, we will pause that and take up Poker Face, probably after Poker Face has been out for a little while. Although I think they not all drop around about the same time.
Well, the first season they dropped half of them, and then the last few came out on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, so we're not sure of the exact time frame, but we'll take up Poker Face as and when. Yeah, so this new concept that I think we've been mulling over probably for the last year or so, trying to see if we can get it to work, and I think we've got a solution.
Yeah, some of the intricacies still need to be ironed out, but in general, what we would like to do is take on multiple shows simultaneously.
Yes, but that's not as daunting as what it might sound. So what we're going to do is we will have a season worth of podcasts, maybe 12 episodes. And within that season, we will pick perhaps 3 or 4 different shows. So maybe you pick a show, I pick a show, and hopefully the listeners can either vote or tell us or whatever, they will pick a show as well. And we'll do a couple of episodes from each of those shows. Now, obviously that means we can't do shows that are very arc-based, where that you would miss something by watching a certain episode.
Yeah, only ones that are heavily serialised. So you'll get shows that have background things that carry on, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if the main plot requires you to have seen lots and lots of previous episodes, that's not going to make sense.
So yeah, very episodic shows such as Murder, She Wrote. That'd be the prime example I think that would fit in. We're looking for shows that again would tie in with the Columbo type audience. So 60s, maybe 70s, 80s, maybe 90s, or even shows that are younger but have that feel, i.e. Poker Face, of those type of older programs.
Yeah, things that aren't challenging you to think about your place in the world or anything too heavy.
Do you want me to read out the list that we sort of put together as a starting point?
A preliminary list, you might say.
Okay, so these are shows that we think would fit and have been requested and or we would like to do ourselves.
Indeed.
Barnaby Jones, Cagney and Lacey, Charlie's Angels, Kojak, Magnum, Mannix, Macmillan and Wife, Miami Vice, Monk, Mrs. Columbo, Murder, She Wrote, Remington Steele, The Rockford Files, Spencer for Hire, The Original Equalizer, Heart to Heart, Matlock, we'll get back to that, The Prisoner, The Cosby Mysteries, strike that one out, that was an early entry.
Yeah.
Elementary, Philip Marlowe, Shaft, Sherlock Holmes and Murder 1. So these...
Which Sherlock Holmes are you talking about?
No, in fact, I think we decided against that. There are a lot of Sherlock Holmes podcasts and they're very passionate and knowledgeable.
There's a lot of people who know too much. They would probably just...
So no, we're not doing Sherlock Holmes. Let's rule that out.
I do like Murder 1, Season 1. It's good.
Yeah, well,
it's very serialised.
You put that on the list. So yeah, I don't think we can do that actually.
We can't, unless you did the first 3 episodes or
Okay,
something.
strike it out then.
Okay.
So you get the idea.
We're getting
then.
down to the bottom now, yeah, with 2 left at the end. This is a format that we think has legs because we think we can come up with themes for seasons. We think we can come up with reasons to visit different shows for different purposes.
Yeah. So we've not, again, decided exactly how we'll do it. It might be that we do 2 shows back to back, 2 episodes of Murder, She Wrote, then we move on to the Rockford Files for 2 episodes. And I think it makes sense to take these episodes in a reasonable order. So maybe we start at season 1. We pick out a couple of episodes.
And that would allow us to revisit shows later on.
Yes. Also, I don't think we should be doing pilot episodes because they're often very different. In some cases, different actors. And I know there are podcasts out there who have that's their thing. They look at the pilot. So
we'll leave that to them.
Yeah. Plus, pilots are often as well two-parters in themselves.
Quite often, or longer.
Yeah, Murder, She Wrote, as I know that.
Yeah.
I think it's The Death or the Killing of Sherlock Holmes. Good episode, mind you.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you guys can give us some feedback, do you think this is something that you would like? Do you have any suggestions of shows that either I've mentioned there or you would like us to consider? Again, we'll do it sort of season by season, so maybe 12 episodes. If your choice doesn't come up the first time, don't worry, we can get to it down the line.
And some of this is subject to adaptation on the fly as well, as we hear from you.
Well, that's it. I mean, I think in fairness, if we do a show which gets a lot of feedback, gets a lot of listeners, we'll be more inclined to do more of that. If we do a show and we get 2 listeners, and unfortunately, there's not an audience there, so why persist?
I think it probably makes sense for us to publish the list of 12 before we start releasing the episodes, so folk know what to expect, so they can watch in advance rather than a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, I think so.
Or does it force them to listen more if they don't get told until the end of the previous week's show?
But I think we're looking to engage with you guys in some way as well. So Ian, on the socials, maybe you can put up polls and things like that.
On that point, we should say this is going to go out on the Columbo Podcast feed, so use the Columbo Podcast socials. Facebook, maybe the most active one at the moment. X is kind of dying a death, but if anyone still uses that.
What's this new thing? It's Blue Skies.
We're not on that because I don't really know if it's going to take off. If it takes off, we can always join. We have a Threads.
That didn't take off, did it? Or did
and an Instagram account, which are not very active, but if folk want to talk to us there, we can always pick those up. X is a quite an angry place these days, so if people are disinclined to use that, there are alternatives available.
Yeah, go on the website.
But like I say, Columbo Podcast, it's all going to be there. We're not going to be asking you to subscribe to a new feed or changing the name of the show. We'll stick on the current YouTube channel as well, Columbo Podcast Productions.
Timeframes for this?
Well, this changed as of a few hours ago, didn't it?
It did. So I mentioned that list there, Matlock, and you turned around and said to me, have you seen the trailers for the new the reboot of Matlock? I said, what are you talking about? I love Matlock. I've not heard of it. I don't watch a lot of terrestrial
telly,
so I don't see these trailers, these adverts. And I had a quick glance, and who's it starring?
Kathy Bates, isn't it?
Jason Ritter, a few names. So I quickly played the openings. They're using exactly the same theme tune.
There's some meta elements which we will, I think, be talking about.
No doubt.
Because we're going to cover the first season on the podcast in the traditional format.
Let's do that.
Keep our oar in.
We'll keep our oar in, yes. So I think it's 10 episodes?
It's 10 episodes. So it airs in the UK from December till February. It's already aired in the States, or it's already airing in the States. It's not finished quite yet. So
on CBS, I think, yeah.
We'll find a way to get access to that, whether by hook or by crook.
Yeah.
And put the podcasts together. So those, I think, will start to release in January.
Yeah. And we'll both this time be newbies.
Yes. I mean, you know the old Matlock, but I don't think it's not a follow-on, it's a reboot.
It's a reboot, it's a reimagining.
And it is a legal drama. And
illegal?
I've got some background
illegal?
there. Legal drama. And I do have some legal experience, so...
Yeah.
There's an end.
So do I,
there.
unfortunately.
So just that one night in the cell. So
so we'll cover that. So when are we thinking of starting that?
Well, I think we'll start putting that out in January.
Okay. So Quantum Leap, our current...
It should wrap on New Year's Day, I think.
Really? That's
on the podcast.
What a day to put it out, yeah. We'll finish recording it, however, in early December.
Yes.
We shall then look to start recording the new Matlock.
Yes, straight away.
That'll get put out pretty much immediately after we end the start of the new year.
Yeah, we need to write the theme tune, sing the theme tune a wee bit, and get all that going.
All that good stuff, yeah. We'll then take a break. We'll probably finish that before we start Poker Face anyway.
Well, we assume that Poker Face won't start airing before February, but there's no official date, so we don't know. We'll
play that all this by ear. If we know there's going to be a gap of only a few weeks between Matlock and Poker Face, will just take a few weeks off. But if there's no sign of Poker Face, we'll start this new format. Yeah.
Yes.
And this new format is going to allow us to keep going indefinitely.
on a season by season basis, and seasons of our choosing, and not Columbo, where you've got 3 episodes in one season and 12 in the next season, and you don't know how long it's going to be till you get a break.
I think 12's a nice number, isn't it?
I think 22 is not a nice number, like Quantum Leap's been going for.
97 episodes of Quantum Leap, that's a lot.
That's the longest I think we've done.
Is it? Yeah.
When we get to the end of it, it'll edge Star Trek. Because Star Trek was only 79, I think.
Okay.
Plus the movies we did.
Yeah.
Even then, it's not as much as this. We've never reached 100, and we won't reach 100, and I think Quantum Leap's going to wrap up at about 98.
So yeah, that's our plans. Let us know what you think about them. Are we making the right decision? Are you guys interested in a show where we delve into these
if there's
classics?
no interest at all, please tell us that as well.
Yeah, if you say, yeah, I
we'll
would
cancel everything.
Yeah, I would not like you to be dipping in and out of shows. But no, I think there's just so much scope. You know, we can start to... there'll be certain shows that you've not seen, certain ones I've not seen. We can start to pick out little things, and what we want, I suppose, is to choose episodes that, you know, again, with regards to Murder She Wrote, for example, I've got some really favourite episodes that I'll be selecting. You might.
Every season I'll be trying to get Star Trek The Next Generation in there.
Yeah, it won't be happening. But you can look perhaps even at shows, or we both will look at shows that we don't know, but maybe look at the IMDb synopsis.
What rate's high?
Or what sounds interesting. Where's it based?
Well,
Is it something it's...
Yeah, and we've got some ideas for themes as well, whether it's guest stars who have appeared in multiple shows, or whether it's Columbo connections even, people who've been on maybe Columbo villains who have guested in other shows, that sort of thing, or starred in other shows.
They've all been on Murder, She Wrote.
Oh yeah, we can pull in the prisoner that way.
But let's say, just as importantly, we would like you guys to really tell us, you know, what you like to listen to and what shows, etc. Get stuck right in there and help guide us, because if there's no one listening, then we won't bother doing it.
Yeah. And the other thing we should note, this is the 10th anniversary of the first ever Columbo podcast, which I know that a lot of folk are celebrating at home with parties and pizzas and so on.
I certainly am.
Or maybe chili on this occasion. I certainly have that planned for when you're listening to this. I'll be at home with many loved ones.
Is it squirrel chili?
Of course. It's the
only way to
Johnny
have it.
Cash's special.
Yes.
But if you have any ideas for a Columbo themed show, we're willing to listen to those. I mean, we're not excluding Columbo from the future.
No, what we don't want to do is do it for the sake of doing it. You know, force a Columbo theme.
It needs to be something that's worth doing.
Yes.
That people are going to be interested in listening to, not one person's weird idea.
Yeah, I mean, we've been through and discussed the show, so what else can we do?
But then you won't know if your idea is that one person's weird idea until you air it, so please feel free to tell us and we will let you know.
Yeah.
And again, that's the kind of thing we can work in at any time if there's a gap in the schedule. Schedule.
Tomatoes?
No, that's wrong. We can't say that.
Nope.
Potatoes. Patatas.
Maybe in Spanish, say patata.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so that's where we are. That's what we're thinking of doing. We want to give you guys what you want.
Hopefully you want something.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I say the answer might be, no, bugger off. After 10 years...
We're done.
We've had enough. Just stop doing it. Like, you know, like those aging rock stars, you think, you know, just wrap. You had a good run at it. 10 years is the right time just to chuck it.
Why have you given me this one episode on all 8 feeds?
We won't do it on all 8 feeds. Let's be selective.
We'll pick the ones that folks still subscribe to.
Spam people with us. Oh,
that's again. Like that time that we re-uploaded all the Columbo episodes and everyone downloaded them accidentally.
Yeah, when you say we.
Oh, it was Apple.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hopefully we're setting the stage for a renaissance of the Columbo podcast.
I'm excited about it.
I think it could be good.
Could be good.
But we need the engagement. We need folk to get involved.
You sound desperate.
No,
You sound really desperate here.
We could just do this and talk at people, but if they're getting involved, I think it becomes as much their show as it is ours, and I think that'll be a two-way relationship that we haven't had the opportunity to do when we're just ploughing through shows from beginning to end.
And there's no reason why they shouldn't, because they're always telling us what to do anyway.
They might as well see some fruits from that.
Yeah, we didn't have the flexibility and didn't have that. So now we can. We can give you what you want, guys.
We can. So thank you once again for all your attention and time over the past 10 years. And
it's been. Let's not undersell the fact that we're absolutely amazed and astounded. I remember the first, we spoke to someone that we knew at the time, and we said, we're doing this podcast, and they sort of had a little laugh, and we said to ourselves, how many listeners do you think we'll get in the first month? And I think the highest, there are 3 or 4 people, and I think we went around I think the highest guess was, somebody said 31. And we'd done that within the first couple of hours.
Yeah, and now many millions of downloads later.
Yeah, so
And that's not an exaggeration.
no, it's absolutely unbelievable that people would listen to a couple of Scottish guys talk nonsense about
People around the world.
yeah,
No, it's great.
about shows from the 70s.
So let's hope there's another 10 years in it.
Yeah,
That'll definitely push you past 50.
maybe just scrape by at that point. And you know, it's fun as well. Maybe I mentioned this before, but it's great when we discover new listeners because we'll get comments on.
Oh, it's brilliant.
You get a show from literally 10 years ago, and they'll ask a question or correct us or give us an answer to a question that we asked.
Yep.
And you go,
What did we say?
what did we say? I'm like,
that's one of my favourite things when someone makes a point like, I can't believe you've said this.
Yeah.
What did I say?
no, because I completely understand. I do exactly the same when I listen to podcasts, older podcasts. You buy in, you're engaging, even though it's not.
So, this goes out to all the folk who have told us, we're sorry we're too late, but we've loved the podcast and we wish we'd been there at the time. This could be your chance to be there at the time.
Be there at the time. Let's do this, yeah.
Yeah. So, hopefully, this reaches the right ears and we get a bunch of feedback. I mean, we had a lot of good engagement with folk when we did the Columbo World Cup. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
That took over a year.
Yeah, well, that was fine. Yeah, other ideas like this. Tell us what you want.
Yeah, and let's get it done.
I'm not a mind reader. Well, I am, but
Not on a Tuesday.
not a Tuesday. Yeah. So let's all get involved together. Let's have a bit of fun.
Okay.
So what I didn't do at the start,
What did you not do?
I didn't say crack on. So what I'm going to say is let's crack off.
That sounds wrong.
Yeah, you're right. We'll just say until next time.
Cheerio.
Bye bye.